Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SewnangelSeason. Sorry for the delay. There was just issues configuring our streamer, so we had to make some last-minute adjustments, let's say. And yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Joined by Hasso. Hello, Hasso. How you doing, man?
Look, mate, we're here. We got there in the end. Yeah, look, a bit stressed out, but we got there in the end. The official stream, so this might take a bit as we are going to avoid here on Kenkuro. What a name for... I've never heard of this name, but we're running... well, let's see what the survivors are running. I've got control this time, so I can actually have a look. We've got Flashbang on the builds. We've got the motorbike perk, whatever that does. 5 moves ahead. Here we are. We're in Chase and a balance of Deja. This is what I love to see. Izuki, I'm pretty sure that's a car brand, but here we go. We are going to take Chase. We are going to avoid the first tag. This is what you love. Tavi, no brutal strength. What are your thoughts on that one, mate?
They opted for Wretched Fate over Brutal. I just was witnessing some Mastermind matches without... Actually, so Mastermind? Yeah, I think last week there was exactly the same builds coming through, but I definitely don't agree with it. I just don't really think that Mastermind is one of those sets where you can get the most value out of Wretched Fate, even though it is a strong perk in certain circumstances. I feel like the Mastermind is not one of those circumstances. Actually, Beetle's going to kind of throw away the down from Izuki and delay that a little bit longer. There goes the M1 and the first generator as well to Radiant, which is a nice kind of breather for them, because it means that the pain resonance will not hit that mid generator. Instead, it's going to hit something else, which has progress, which will not be as important. Yeah, and now I guess with the Wretched Fate completely out of the trial now, since it got cleansed immediately, we won't really have to see if Wretched Fate gets value this week, Hasso.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm still sorting stuff out on my end, so I'm just a little bit nervous. But look, Wretched Fate, it's a bit of a difference. A bit of a change up in perks. Bit of Wretched Fate in. I've just said Wretched Fate for the third time in the same sentence. Wretched Fate over Brutal. Again, I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I'm very used to seeing Brutal and the faster pallet breaks by 20%. Definitely feel like it's crucial for Chase. But overall, Tavi, I mean, we're not even in too bad of a spot. There's our next gem popping. We do have Beetle in the background, which will just come in clutch. No, we're not going to get Beetle value. They're going to not go second because of this. So that is absolutely beautiful. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm a bit nervous, but I've just got confirmation from one of the lads, the legends, Fatal over Brutal because of the budget, which makes sense. It definitely helps out a lot, and you know, I think that'll come in clutch. But well, it hasn't really, because the perk's been cleansed. But overall, you know, getting value. But that being said, yeah, overall, I'm just very nervous, because first time streaming, first time casting at the same time. It is a bit of a it's change up in direction, so we'll see how we go. But we take Chase here onto AZ. Now, how long can we last? We sort of need to last here and hope that we can win a few 50s. We're going to win the first one and get away with life. I absolutely love that. Now, we do have a 4-gen bottom. Now, I'm completely lost. No wonder the man Izuki never left this bot hook. I mean, that's a fair play. You want to send it top here. That's the best option now. I have to ask you, Tavi. What do you do now? You obviously have a death hook in a second, or someone that's about to be put on death hook, or second hook, whatever you want to call it. But what do you think is the best plan and the best idea to do from here? I mean, basement could be a shout, which it does look like we're gonna make. I'm not too sure if we do make. Let's switch over to the serves. We are gonna make it just. But there's our next gem popping. What are your thoughts on this, mate? The basement hook.
Oh, it's funny how before you were talking about the motorcycle perk, and that perk might have actually prevented the the basement hook there. Just a bit of irony there, going back a couple of minutes in the trial. But I think our survivors need to go reset. That's one that's 2 resets coming through by them. They need to get that spray onto Prom and try and either force the camp really, really close proximity to the hook and force the generators through, or they get the unhook, and then they have to use those health states to make the tunnel outlast. Because in basement, it's going to be extremely difficult to get out of there with the Mastermind, especially with Jewel Beetle too. So right now, Astus just seems to not really be surrounded by anyone else. There's not any signs of other life or any other survivors around this area. They might just be leaving Asta to die here, which that is a decision they can make. I just didn't expect them to do this at all. And, oh, okay, we do find that, I believe the Adam running in the background. Maybe he's trying to go in for the save, but maybe just rotating away from that instead to hit the gen pressure. And there we go. Here comes the death. And I feel like, as you were saying before, this bot side pressure is like, this bot side generator setup is just incredibly good for Izuki. Even though our 3 survivors are healthy, they've got a lot of potential in chase. Oh boy. Does Izuki have something to say about that? That is certainly a virulent bound of all time that hits through a window. But again, you don't really want to chase around main, I guess, since the main is a strong building. It's going to waste too much time. Better to work on the gens and defend them instead, Hasso.
Absolutely, and look, there's really at this point, it's not really, it's just obvious. There's 2 perks in the trial left for Izuki. I'm not too sure how much the budget costs for both of these for Brutal versus Wretched, or if you can even.
It's $2.
$2. There you go. So how much?
It's $2 more.
Oh, what?
It's $2 more to bring Wretched.
Oh my goodness, that is like buying an ice cream from the local IGA. That is a scam and a half. I mean, fair play, I guess. I mean, Brutal is a pretty busted perk on a lot of killers, if not every killer. There's not really a killer it's not broken on or strong enough to get value from. So, fair play. But look, let's have a look at the survivors, see what they're up to. Look, I'm a bit. I've just clicked on 3 on my keyboard 3 times just to find out they're dead. But stealthing here, Shaq. We got one on hook. I mean, this is. We're sort of patrolling the hook, you'd assume, going back and forth to it. We probably will get this unhooked just as we return to that hook. But Tavi, you can only hit the gen so many times, and I mean. Not too sure how many times it is exactly, maybe 8 or 10, something like that. But what do you do now that the game is sort of going to slow down a little bit in the way that, you know, these gens will keep on getting pressured and they will have to be re-kicked multiple times? How do you play around that? Do you opt to kick them just to get them regressing, or do you wait till you get it down for eruption to do the 10%?
I firmly believe that the best course of action is just to play a bit proactive. Now, there is a world where the survivors are all killed before a generator pops, but that world is very unlikely. And I feel like what is worse to try and secure that than trying to secure that by playing too heavily around gens is... hold on, what am I trying to say? I think the worst case scenario for Izuki at the moment is that they play a bit too defensive around the generators and then allow the survivors to make a bit of a comeback, maybe through like a miracle chase, which then might result in resets coming through, and then the stealthing might come into a big play, and then yet again, as you say, maybe the kicks actually play a part into how the pace and tempo of this trial does turn out to be. But that's just hypothetical. We're not at that stage yet, and it seems like Izuki is opting to chase instead of defend the generators, which again I do think is the better option here, because it is most likely going to result in a 4K, but of what quality, it is up to the survivor to kind of say about that. So Prom's going to take a hit here. There's not really much they could do. They're zoned away from most resources on the map, and Izuki is just maybe a little bit conscious, does leave from this and return to the gens, but yet again, I feel like this is a little bit of a questionable. Okay, well, there was a reset and a generator pop at the same time, so I have to give that to the survivors for being unpredictable. And yet again, I feel like And now that they've left the tunnel out to hit the generator, which is now completed in their face, what is the play? I guess they got to throw to the edge trap, which does not connect to the health state, so that's a huge amount of time coming from Kenkuro, who only takes the M1 now, but it's so much better than being thrown to the edge map. And yet again, Izuki is sort of maybe a little bit lost around the map, has to make some very awkward rotations to get back to the generator setup. Luckily, though, for them, the generators are not highly progressed, so they will not be completed anytime soon. But you can kind of see that Izuki might be panicking a little bit just to find the pressure now that they've they left the tunnel up, but now I guess they're back on track to force Prom out of this trial. So yeah, there goes. Here comes the grab, and Hasso in this 2v1. I think it seems to be sort of over. I guess like it's just a 3-gen being here. Also have to say props to you. I didn't say this before, but yeah, props to you. You have to like micromanage the survivor's POV and everything, but you also do have control of everything, like what everyone sees. So yeah, it's got to feel good having control of that.
I mean, it does feel good having all the Infinity Stones on my glove finally and being in control. It is a nice feeling, but there's no doubt about it that still definitely a bit nervous. But we are looking around for these survivors now. They're probably going to go for the reset, you'd assume. It's probably their best bet. I mean, it is their best bet. Get a reset going. Kenkuro may have been spotted out here. Izuki has spotted out Kenkuro. That means that he knows Izuki can commit this chase because he knows all the generators have 0 to no progress. So there's nothing really in it. And we're just going to have to play this pallet. And we've been scammed. I mean, I wouldn't even know if that's a scam at this point in time. The pallets, the Wesker vaults being really weird the past 2 to 3 months, especially hitting over them. But yeah, I mean, Tavi, I'm keen to see how these two play this 2v1 out. Obviously, it's not an easy job. This is a really tight 3-gen. Izuki's just going to get a rupture on every single gen. There's no stopping that. We do see a crow over towards behind Shaq, I feel. I'm not too sure if we are stealthing over there, and we are indeed. So that is where we're at. Are we going to be able to stealth this, though? No, we do spot out our survivor here as we'll be getting hits and dropping the Shaq pallet. We're just going to go outside of Shaq and hopefully get this down as soon as possible. We're going to zone towards the bottom of the map even more and trying it a little bit mind gamey here. And not too sure if it'll work out, and bang, straight to the face. That is what you love to see. A beautiful double dash. My God, Tavi. Yeah, I mean, if it hasn't hit you already, this is a 4K one, and I tell you what, Izuki has played this very nicely. The only thing I have to critique about Izuki is this outfit. I think it is terrible. Fair play again. That is a diabolical hit. I'm not too sure if this is a ping matchup at all, but fair play, I guess. That'll be a 4K one, Tavi. A great result for the Wesker. You don't really see as many 4Ks nowadays. It's usually, if not basically always out, unless you're versing a really good Wesker, and Izuki put in on an absolute performance. So what do you make of this? A 4K one on CT1?
Okay, I wanted to say right to that hit through the pallet, but I think the rest of this trials, yeah, just turned out really, really nicely for Izuki. It had I'd say, fairly early tunnel out. Got quite a bit of pressure from just the dashes coming through. Actually, I do believe Izuki is just going to go for the Mori here to prevent any kind of flip-flop shenanigans coming through, so that's pretty reasonable. It's like a fairly early tunnel out, fairly early down, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, really nice dashes throughout the entire trial. I feel, yeah, I feel like Izuki maybe a little bit less confident in terms of the macro end about like how far the generators perhaps were progressed. And I just felt like maneuvering the map was maybe also it's just funny seeing Mastermind follow as here, but yeah, I think that definitely could have played a little bit more confident, but it's still, yeah, a great result. 4K1, not anything you see on an average comp game of the Mastermind, especially when it's played this much. You know, people really like playing against and as the Mastermind. So yeah. I guess that means Radiant has to go for a 4K1 if they want to try tie this up in the first set, Hasso. But apart from that, yeah, this is really well played.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that being said, we will enter intermission. This is my first time pressing the button, so I do feel pretty excited. But we will enter an intermission and have this next one set up as soon as possible. We are live. Let's do this. Come on, Tavi.
Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of the Mastermind set. I do believe that the previous trial was one of the the more impressive results. Sorry, not most impressive. I amend that statement. One of the more impressive results I've seen on a Mastermind set, not being a 4K1. But Az is here to prove me wrong, to see if, Radiant can take this set away to start off this series. I would like to apologize as well to everyone who I might have misled. Actually, I believe that should be a whom. But whom I might have misled into believing that Budget Battle was per set is in fact per series. I don't know what made my mind lock into that. Which means that the Wretched Fate purchase is pretty valid. Thanks for clarifying that, Andrew. Because that would mean that it carries over to the rest of the sets. So anyway, we do see a different build coming through by Az. Brutal Strength over the Wretched Fate. So maybe this will be a little bit better here on the Cold Tower 1 Hasso.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be brutally honest with you, oh my god, you need to stop it, as that is insane. But look at the gen pressure these boys have got going. Bang, 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 bang. I mean, I could have done two, but look, brutal. I have to say, Tavi, I just love it a lot more than Wretched. Andrew did clarify it very well for us, though. Considering it is over all three sets, it does make a little bit more sense. I do see the understanding. Obviously, as these guys have opted for the brutal, but overall, I mean, this is. Hold on, we're just getting this for free, just the tag, but yeah, this is, I'm definitely a bit nervous. This could be a 2-tap, hold on. Oh, robbery, but I am interested and intrigued to see how these survivors play, because they do need to get, what, a 4K 0 to win. So it's not the end of the world. It's not the hardest. It's definitely doable. By all means, but I think the problem sort of lies whether they actually have the will to I mean, they're just spawning survivors. Sorry, AZ's just spawning survivors left, right, and center. But I tell you what, as I was saying, I think they do have the want to pop 5 gens. I mean, you'd hope so. In a situation like this where you're not begged to you know, get 10 stages out the door. It's pretty simple. Pop 5 gens, and against this killer, realistically, you should be popping 5 gens against this killer every day of the week. It should never be 4Ks, unless it's obviously situations happen. But we do get a dodge here on the side of Sharks. Now, Sharks have never seen any of these plays. I'm not even taking the piss. Never seen one of these plays. We do swing fake for it, and we get away with it. I'm telling you now, these survivors are putting on a performance and a half. We're going to juke again. No, this is diabolical. You need to stop it now, Shark. This is a really nice start. You are fired up. That is what I love to see. Look, got to break these main doors. Get a bit of, get a bit of, you know, room out the way. This got to be balance landing. Let me check over to Sharks. That's BL. That is BL for sure. Tenacity, light-footed, self-preservation, I think it is. What else do we have? Life, dance with me, windows. I'm loving these synergized builds. These builds are synergized as hell. I love it. I love every bit about it. The only thing I don't like is parental guidance, not on the smash hit. But that being said, we'll go back to the killer here. AZ getting a little bit lost. We lagged out. Oh my god, that is a bit of lag there coming in on the side of AZ. There's another gem popping, and I tell you what, Tavi, problems are. Oh my god, problems are starting to arise for the big AZ.
Absolutely. Although he's managed to secure quite a bit of pressure from the tags with the bounds, he's just not able to keep up with the survivors in this current scenario. Here comes the eruption actually to save this generator from being popped right away, and you can see actually Mr. Dustin ESD sprint bursting away from it to get to safety, but there's still a fairly difficult trial ahead for Az, even though this gen can be saved for the time being. That's just simply because we have 3 healthies in the trial, and all they need to do is to pop 2 generators to meet the Tycon, and pop 3, as you're saying, to meet Wincon. By the way, that's a beautiful beetle throw. And that, I think, is what AZ absolutely needs to get the momentum back into this trial, because now ESD is taking chase at the back of this main building. Someone has to come in and go for the pull. That might actually allow AZ to go for the early tunnel out to them, but it's seeming like he just wants to go for the tunnel out to secure pain resonance first and then see how things pan out from there. So here comes ESD onto the ground. It's going to be put onto a painless hook, and most likely painless hook, and then yeah, it's just Az finding it's Az who needs to find the openings here. It's Az who needs to make the plays happen, because if this tunnel gets away, number one, that's going to be really bad. Oh, and they actually got reset too, so they got away and also they might have gotten away and also got reset. So yeah, it's just going to be extremely hard hassle to get a 4K1 or even a 4K0 if they can't secure a tunnel out soon.
Yeah, look, Talia, I think the main problem here is we're getting very lost in our own footsteps. That might sound pretty dumb to say, but we quite literally are. Not knowing where to spot out our survivors, where a tunnel out is. Those sort of problems can start to arise more and more as the game goes on. But you know, for some, it might just be the survivors are playing really well. I think for Az, it is a little difficult because the pressure now is really against him, because he has to perform. And you know, it's being under such a difficult win con, especially on the Wesker. The Wesker is really, you know, it's a killer. I'm not one to say I'm good at the game, but it is a killer I find very frustrating to play. Your bounds, to bound and to learn all these tricks is just not fun, and it's not something I'd ever really want to do. So I know it's not fun, and then you obviously have to add not just that, but the pressure of getting a 4K2 to win a game or win a set, which is just not as easy as. We're going to take Shark, who's got that BL back in, and I don't think Shark has sprayed once since being unhooked. Look at this pressure though, Tavi. My goodness.
It is extremely burden for our survivors. The pressure is just mounting here. Actually, AZ, I'll always call him AZ here, but yeah, they get the double dash, and Shark is just dead. So, despite getting the reset earlier and getting away from Az, it's just, yeah, they're dead now, but payment for that is this gen popping. So, there is still obviously a lot to contend with for Az, or AZ, even though they do have the 3v1, the ideal scenario for this current moment. So yeah, they're just gonna try their best to continue applying pressure. There comes the Vival tag and the Vival throw onto just gonna be very safe around Shaq. But yeah, that's not where the action is on this trial. The action is all on this top side, it seems, as a lot of scratch marks are here. I didn't actually get a good look of where that third generator is on the map. The last of 3 generators. It is at the bottom side. Yeah. So that is problems for AZ, because this is not defendable against Survivor perfect play, in my opinion. So that means, again, he still needs to make the plays happen, still needs to be the one initiating the plays and getting things done, because if our survivors are just left here for too long, one of those 2 generators will pop, either main or 8, and there's not really anything you can do about it unless unless you get something like this where you get the down quickly and you can snowball it so that maybe you can catch the survivors off guard, which seems to be the case. Oh dear, one Justice one here is going to get him one. Oh dear, I cursed it right there. So,
oh my goodness, this is nervous. I'm very nervous because realistically, Tavi, if Just bleeds out, I'm pretty sure I have to get a ref to confirm this. I forget a lot. if Just does bleed out, a nice little hug there, by the way, just to add to that, a nice little hug there. But if Just does bleed out and we do, you know, hook Chen and ESD, I believe that means that the series will go to the survivors. Now, again, I can't remember exactly who's on what team. I've sort of gotten a little bit lost in the source, but I do have to confirm that. So, yes, bleed outs on survivors will reward all remaining points to the killer unless it's a fresh hook. The fresh hook will not be rewarded. Okay, so there you go. That it gives you your answer. So it just really is going to depend on what happens here. But a 4K1 Tavi, that is a great result considering the pressure that we were under.
Yeah, I think that just all comes down to one simple action that our survivor did not take. Our survivor, who was the most vulnerable in the trial due to being just one hook away from death, Shark, not getting a spray can and spraying themselves, I think was just a horrible mistake. Because then they died, and yeah, the rest of the survivor crew unfortunately just couldn't get away with it. There was that unfortunate moment where ESD went down and then Just immediately followed, just dropped like flies, one after the other. And so, yeah, then the trial just was completely over from there. And I guess the bleed out rule won't matter at all because, yeah, 4K1, now all 3 survivors are hooked. There's absolutely no chance that they're getting off the hook, according to our rule set anyway. They are not allowed to unhook themselves. So yeah, I'm just surprised to see back-to-back 4K1 on Mastermind. It's I would say fairly rare, not very rare, fairly rare to see 4K1 win conditions be matched in common sets like the Mastermind. So yeah, just well played to Radiant there, and we're going to a set 3, but before that, Hasso, we're going to a set 2, and I guess that also means that we'll go to a quick intermission. So stay with us. We'll be right back with the next set of the Unknown. And yeah, we're getting that set up for you.
Welcome back, everybody, to the next set of Game 4, Week 2, Day 2. I think I've done that correctly. No. Yes, Day 1, as we didn't have games yesterday. Look, we're on the Ormand Lake mine. I'm pretty excited for this, to be brutally honest. You know, got some nice builds. Obviously, no exhaustions, I don't think. Obviously, head-on is allowed. But on the Unknown, now, Tavi, what are your thoughts on this big build that we've got?
Well, I'd like to... Oh, my God. You know, it's sort of funny, because I was reading Twitch chat, and a user named PromKnight2009 said, "My macro is unmatched. Full stop." And yeah, look at what just happens here in this Unknown trial. Okay, back to business. What do I think of this? Yeah, important to note that the turn back the clock was brought here in this trial, because that is quite an expenditure on, you know, just $5 on this set. But you know, maybe it works wonders for strategy _69, because yeah, that's a very early first down. And if there's anything that this set of perks can do, Hasso, is it can turn generators into dust. That is how broken some of these regressions can be if played properly.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think, look, bit of a sip of my water, but yeah, I do agree. I think considering where we're at, this is a strong build. Obviously, Eruption and Turn Back the Clock don't synergize very well together because, you know, ones have to hit a gem. We actually had this chat, me and Tavi, last week about a build that was Pop Eruption, Turn Back the Clock, something like that. And it's like, well, do you really get value from Turn Back the Clock if you're running Pop Eruption, or can you run something else like Call of Brine or even Ruin or something, you know, a bit more diverse? And you know, we still opted to run that build, and I think something that we notice with turn back the clock is it really, especially the fact that we're not running pop is a good sign, but you know, not knowing when to use eruption and using turn back the clock is sort of it. But we are going to get a nice hopeful 2-tap. No, we've hit the survivor. This is exactly what you need right here if you're on the side of the survivors to get a hit. But this should be a down very shortly on the side of Strategy 69. What a name. What a player. This should be a down. What? That is insane to not hit. I'm not too sure how that hasn't hit, but we get away with it somehow, and we are going to evade this. And, oh, no. You cannot be allowing it to happen. We just hook basement here, surely. No, we're just going to opt to hook Shack. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. We're not going to hook another survivor here for the next 60 seconds, I don't think so. Tavi, a lightning start, a death at 3, but the gem progress is there for the side of the survivors.
Yeah, there's some gen progress, but that quick death is just insane pressure for Strategy 69. That lingering hitbox on the UVX is just stupid, to be honest. I don't know why it's coded in the game like that. I feel like it should, at least, like, the hitbox should get smaller while it explodes, but, you know, it doesn't matter. There's a one generator popping, but Shark's on the ground for this, and Chan is still injured. Actually getting reset right now, and I think, yeah, now Strategy 69 should just know that the gens are pretty much non-existent in terms of pressure for our survivors, which is always a good sign, because I believe, Hasso, this killer on this map should not be 4Ks. It should not be 4Ks at all. It should be outs, just given the really large nature of this map, and the fact that this killer has been very, very much worked on in the competitive scene, or just in general. Like, the counterplay has been solved a lot better today. So, yeah. At the moment, though, looking at 4 stages at 2 generators left, and 3 of those stages are a tunnel out, and it still has 3 perks available to work with. Yeah, it's going to be a difficult trial ahead for our survivors, for sure. Going to return to the hook, though. He's doing a little bit of scouting on top of the main building. Does actually catch out both survivors with that UVX shot. Beautifully done. And now this resource of the power gym is gone. So is really opting to go for a short chase. Does chase main, though. So yeah. See how quickly this goes. Actually, that's a nice fake. And Chan's kind of just accepting death here with this power. So maybe they can make something work here, though. If this is played out properly. Oh, dear.
I mean,
all right.
that's the down, Tavi. I tell you what, Strategy 69 putting on a performance and a half. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Survivors, you know, I think one thing that doesn't get spoken enough about is killers capitalizing on survivors' mistakes and vice versa. I think that's something that, you know, we always look to say, oh, the killer played really well. And don't get me wrong, I think Strategy has played incredibly well, but I also think a lot of these mistakes have come from the survivors. Like, holy, that scared the shocking balls out of me, that thing right there. What was that? But yeah, I think, you know, finding a survivor nice and early in a locker, that is what you don't want. You don't want it if you're the survivors at all. That right there is your typical public Sable Ward getting into a locker at the start of a match. It's not what you want. Now, of course, Just wasn't playing Sable Ward, but in a public match, that's what a typical Sable would do. Now, look, it hasn't worked out very well. They've fast pulled this, but honestly, this definitely does look like it'll be a 4K Tavi, and I wouldn't put it past Strategy here to 4K. I think he's just in the mindset to get some more downs here, and this should be a down. Realistically, beautifully timed as well to make sure that we don't shoot too far ahead, and that is what you love to see. Now, yeah, Tavi, that's going to be pain res. Not too sure what these serves are up to. Let's have a look. There's a gen getting worked. Deja Vu. That's a not terrible 3-gem for the killer. It's actually pretty nice, to be brutally honest, on a map like this. But I tell you what, what do we think? 4K1 or 4K2? I mean, it could be stages, don't get me wrong, but in my opinion, it's highly unlikely. They're all injured. One's on hook. It's not looking great.
I just think it's a 4K2 here, Hasso. These perks are so oppressive. There's no oppression in here. They're oppressive. They're just so strong on the aggression, and when you have, when you can build up the pressure and keep the chases relatively short, these perks completely remove any kind of progress that our survivors have on generators. It's going to be another tag here, UVX tag onto Chan, but they get away from this one safely, and that's exactly what they need. But just as I say that, now we got another chase onto ESD, and ESD has to take the weekend as well. So we got 3 weekend survivors. They're all really vulnerable coming into this. ESD just goes down here thanks to the weekend status effect, making them have to kind of jiggy away from it. And yeah, it's just what's the way back for the survivors in this spot? They have to go for some kind of incredible reset scenario. They have to try like stealth out strategy 69's unknown, but it's just really difficult because they also want to get gens done instead of it. So, and it's really difficult to get gens done with the hallucinations that are popping up everywhere, and also the fact that they're weakened. It just makes it a lot more dangerous to hit generators. Luckily, though, I still do think that that is the correct course of action in this trial. That is somehow hitting ESD. Are we serious? Champow's not even safe against strategy 69. That's incredible. And we're going to go down on the filler right outside. That's not even ESD going down. That's Chan going down. So, yeah, it's just strategy 69's got all of this momentum here in this trial. I do have to agree as well with what you said before about mistakes playing a part in the gameplay, because yeah, it is perhaps just one slip up that it takes to cost an entire game, and if the killer can exploit that mistake, then yeah, that's where the real trouble begins. As we see though, the unhook comes through, but it's still again very difficult for survivors to make progress because the chases are just not long enough, Hasso.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not great. That's as short as I can put it. It is not great. It looks really, just not good. The survivors are getting caught with their pants down, and it's unfortunate because they honestly made one fatal mistake at the start of the match, which was not good at all. But they've sort of rebuilt a bit of resilience and played this 3v1 very slowly. Now, I love a slow match sometimes, and especially when it gets more difficult. There goes that gen, so that'll be a 4K1. Tavi, we were thinking 4K2. Oh my god, if that hit, I would have lost it. But we were thinking 4K2. Now the real question is, can the side of Nythera, I'm not too sure what it is, can they pull it off, and can they get a 4K2? It's not easy at all. It is not an easy job. But the pressure is built on them right now. What do you think, mate?
I think it's just going to be, well, having to rely on a mistake. Yeah, it's a miracle kind of performance is required. Not just performance, sorry, but also, yeah, the slip up on Radiant's part, because yeah, 4K2 is not the normal result on this map with this killer of the unknown. Saying that though, I was reminded earlier today that there was a series of matches that had unknown on this map that went to like 4K2 3 times in a row, nearly. Back to back to back 3 times in a row. So, if you are Gospel and Renewal, you know what I'm talking about. But this kind of result doesn't come with your average killer. It comes with special performances and really special gameplay. So as I say that, we are going to go to a quick intermission, getting the second half of the unknown set for you all, So yeah, we'll be right back with that. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody, to what is the unknown. Again, we had a, what did we have, Tavi? We had a 4K1, I believe. So nothing
indeed.
too too bad. Pretty nice. Icing on the cake right there. Izuki on the killer, of course, got the Wretched Fate catching our Survivor out. This will be a tag nice and early. We're going to opt to go for the UVX. Probably pre-drop Shaq here is probably the best bet. No, we're going to greet it. Now, what exhaustion do we have? We don't have any exhaustion. We have Urban Evasion. We have the Motorbike perk. And any means necessary. We're going to dodge it again. Beautifully done from the big man, Ace. Look, Prom on here. We got 3 perks per Survivor. I'm loving this. Smash it on there. I think this is going to be a really close one, to be brutally honest. I'm not too sure how synergized both teams are. We do get a little bit lost in the source there, though. It's not what you want realistically, but yeah, I'm just going to have to get away. And honestly, Tavi, there's the first hit. Nice and decently early. But what are you expecting out of this one, mate?
I think with this start, I think Nythera has just done fairly well enough on the end of Killer. Like that's all right, but it's still in the Survivor's kind of favor, I'd say, because they got like a lot of jet progress for that first down compared to the previous trial where we had just a pull out of the locker within the first 20 seconds. So yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done by Izuki here. You're going to take the pallet brick and also get an infection onto Prom. I think this will be committed. Here comes the M1 miss. Oh, wow. Prom, very, very patient on the vault. Is not going to get hit by that. Excuse me? Yeah, it's going to get away with just an M1 and no weakened status effect for it. So, yeah, again, still up to Izuki how they want to play this trial. It's going to teleport to Shaq. It's not going to catch Prom off guard. Really nice awareness there by them. And this chase does continue. I think this chase is, I would say, a bit of a mistake to take because, yeah, this is not really on track to the goal. Now the swing and the miss. Now Prom can definitely make the Shaq pilot. That's going to be thrown in the face. Shaq at 5. Yeah, give them a minus rep as you'll love. But yeah, it doesn't really matter because this death spot is now completely opposite side of the map. It's going to be pretty much near a generator that's completed very soon. And the chase is not even over yet. There's still a filler pallet right around here, which can be made by Prom if they decide to go for it. But instead, the weakened status effect is applied as the first gen will pop very soon. So, like, there's just really difficult to get back in this trial for Izuki. Our survivors are playing this just really, really well. The chases are good enough, and that's pretty much all that matters when it comes to an unknown set. At least for the start of the trial, the chases are just the most important thing. And, oh my god, Prom is getting away with this! Oh my gosh, this is just insanity coming through in this chase. But yeah, well played by Radiant Survivor here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, bro, I am. Tell you what, I'm starting to get a bit more fired up here. I've got the heater right under my desk. It is very warm, and I tell you what, we're starting to hit some good shots here, Azuki. Obviously, we have to get a very tough win con of a 4K2. We have to get a 4K2, sorry, should I say, to win this match. And it's not something easy that you get off. And I think, considering the build we're running, slowdown, there's no turn back the clock. We've obviously been running the Wretched Fate. There's another gem popping. We cannot let another one pop from here on out. I think the pressure is just going to build over at this point, Tavi. I think in this time, I think you look at all the survivors and what they're doing. Gens, you know, we got one that's going towards, I believe this is 6 or something on the map. Not too sure, but yeah, I mean, the killer, you know, Izuku has got to sort of slow it down, if I'm being brutally honest. It just, I feel we're going a little bit too fast and thinking that, you know, slow it down, but don't slow it down enough where it's gonna shut you know, the whole game off. Because we actually have a really nice 3-gen Tavi. I don't know if you saw it. I think it's bot mid 6 and 7 or something like that. A really nice 3-gen. Look at that 3-gen. That is beautiful. That is what you need if you're playing. Imagine we have back-to-back ties. That would be insane. But look, we might even go second here. I'm sure someone is wrapping for that pool very shortly. We do get a ping pong. It does not work out. We're going to get that unhooked just before we go second, and I'm assuming we're going to leave. No, we're not. We're going to opt to play for the UVX, and then we'll probably opt to leave because Shaq is not something fun to play on. We might even get a tag out of this, as we do see Asta in the background working that gen. That is ridiculous, that hit. I'm not too sure how that's hit, or even managed to hit, but it's worked out in the end. But Tavi, I have to say, mate, this is going to be intense because we might have, what, another TB? Or a TB that's, 2 sets that have been tied.
2 sets that have been tied. I don't think so, because our survivors are going to pop the generator for the tie condition, and they are not in any position to be throwing this game at the moment. Just as I say that, though, we do have a survivor, Kankuro, maybe playing a little bit too altruistically for Az there, who just got down. But again, I don't think it's too impactful. AZ/Az, they are on second hook now, so they have 70 seconds until they are forcefully eliminated from the trial. But that is plenty of time for the rest of the survivors of Radiant to work on the 3-gen, which seems, again, it does seem very strong for the killer, but remember, it is 4 survivors in the trial if this unhook happens. And I guess okay, there's a good start though. That's a beautiful little UVX from Izuki to start off the pressure, and it's actually following up on Kankuro. I don't know if he can get an angle here. Does set it up, does get the tap, so suddenly maybe things could become really bad here for our survivors of Nythera, but when I say our survivors of Nythera, our survivors on Radiant, but this is going to be dragged back to the same hook, so our survivors are kind of in the same spot as before, except they just kind of traded who's on hook, and also just gotten a bit of gen progress for it. And now I think about it, AZ is the one that has Wretched Fate, so that's going to be another little bonus for Izuki when trying to hold this 3-gen here on the bot side. It is still fairly tense, I would say, but our survivors are the ones, in my opinion, are the ones in the driving seat.
Yes.
They're the ones that still, absolutely control the pace of the game, and there's not really any option for Izuki except to try and keep up with it and to exploit any mistakes that they see. So they're going to take a double UVX here. Maybe this will be a tunnel out. I think this would be the best option here. But Kankuro does have some distance, and there's still other survivors that perhaps use the altruistic plays on. So they're just going to take the tip here and make their way up the map. And I don't think there's any way that Izuki can stop the last gen. I mean, they just triple the gen. There's nowhere can be done, even through eruption.
Yeah,
Surely.
Let's have a look. I mean, there we go. There come the reinforcements. Wait. Now, hold on. Do we have a TP in our vicinity? Because if we do, this could work out. Hold on. We do have a TP. We're not going to get the gen done in time. Now, Tavi, I did just get confirmation. Our 4K1 is going to be a tie. So that means we'll go back-to-back ties almost. So, I mean, that is... Look, of course, I agree with you. I have to first off say, you're 100% right. The driver's seat is in the survivors' favour right now. They are the ones driving the car. I feel like Izuki is sort of in the passenger seat, trying to take that wheel, but just can't get a full grip of it. And I think we're almost seeing that the pressure is going to build on these survivors. I'm not too sure if they're going to opt to go for another gen or what their plan is, but we do get Az caught off guard here. We aren't going to drop that pallet. We're just going to take it and run towards 11. Now, this is what you want. Probably hit a UVX. Now, realistically, if we get this man out the trial, that makes it a 2v1 even better. Now, no spikes yet on the generator. We're going to reset. The triple reset. Tavi, if we find this reset, this could be crucial. Izuki doesn't find the reset, unfortunately, but my
He saw the bird. He saw the bird. I think he saw the bird. He knows they're here. Wait. Was that a bird? Or was that my imagination?
I think it's your imagination. I think they're resetting 11, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
11. Yes. Okay, 11. So... but, look, it's definitely in their spot right now, the survivor spot, because, you know, you talk about pressure in many games, and this is one where Azuki definitely doesn't want to hit that gen anymore because he wants to actually get value from his eruption perk, which is, I 100% agree with. I think that is something that should definitely happen as we do get the stun right through from Asta. That'll be Smash It, I do believe, getting us out of there. It is indeed, so very nicely done. We are going to pressure from off this gen and get a UVX tag, and AZ is going to get a bit of a look onto the killer, try and get that UVX removed off the head, and Tavi, the pressure is now just building and building and building. It looks like these survivors are going to pop this final gen.
I would say most likely yes, but there's still so much room to maneuver and for Izuki to get those chances. And I think that even though it is not a battle that is necessarily in their favor, it can definitely go to it if played well. And we're having a bit of another map reset here. We can see Asta is just holding their own at the edge of the map on 9. However, since the reset comes through, again, it's gonna be Izuki working from square one. The survivors are kind of the ones that need to find something. Actually, that is Asta being found, but Asta is completely fresh, so this is not a survivor which necessarily poses a potential target to try and get out of the trial. But Prom's going to take the next hit instead. That's what I infer from the hub, because Asta is still around here. I guess, yeah. I want to see how this plays out, because the survivors still have like that good amount of pressure, but now they've taken 2 injuries. It's sort of like, well, they definitely want to reset them. Oh my god, he got away with that. Oh my god, Bro got away with that. But found someone else though. But it doesn't matter because it's too far away from the gens. AZ got away from that. I think that's a huge deal, because having one healthy survivor is so annoying as a killer. It means that you just have to be really careful of how long you leave generators, and maybe just be really careful about potential stealth spots. Somehow that bounce comes through and Prom takes the infection, but they're going to go down anyway. There's just no pallet here anymore. And yeah, it's just a reset again coming through from our survivors. If anything is to happen, Hasso, I think now is the time for Izuki to show up here and really continue putting the pressure on the survivors, because that's another pain. As that generator is once was 80%, once was a great generator to try and progress, but it's now just looking like nothing and sort of regressed into the ground. So
yeah.
Look, Hasso, do you think that the regression events will play into this part of the trial?
That's a good question. I don't know. I can't answer it. I think this game has been so on the edge, really, because you talk about games being close. This is one that has just been close every step of the way. The start was very slow from Izuki, but how much pressure we've been able to build up has been incredible. If we can get this down to Prom, we could change the game. We don't want to have to opt to leave this. I'm not too sure if we're seeing this gen over towards Asta. We are, so we're going to have that 50% now. Remember, Tavi, it's been in the game for a while now. I'm not too sure when it got added to the game. But the generator kicking thing where it was a major overhaul on how many times you could hit a gen before it gets blocked. This is where it's going to come into effect. This, you know, enough playing Olympic ping pong, it's over, because you can only do this gen so many times before you run out of kicks. So I'm interested to see how this is played out, and you know, we are going to have a down onto Asta. There will be a pain race right in front of us, but Tavi, I don't think we have many kicks left in the tank on this one generator.
It might not be that necessary, because that was a huge mistake from Asta. I don't know why they decided to vault the window and zone themselves back into the generator. They're just going to be hooked right on top of the active. And again, Izuki is sort of just clawing their way back into the trial. I think is maybe even in the advantageous position now with this hook and Pain Res hitting this active gen. Now how the survivor's going to work this? Instead of 4 of them in the trial, there's 3 of them. And one of them Z hook, the other one has to just sit a generator and progress that instead, while that shot nearly actually lands onto AZ. But it's just really, really difficult now for our survivors. I somehow managed to play themselves into this 3v1 where they just can't really get enough progress, and I guess it was just a few too many mistakes from them, because just before, again, as I was saying, there were 4 survivors in the trial in a very, very similar position to this, where they had a good amount of health states, and now there's 3, so there's obviously something that's gone wrong, since a generator hasn't popped. And yeah, Asta's just going to hit second here for free. This is, I guess, maybe just Tycon being achieved. AZ's also taking that to the back. Asta gets unhooked, but okay. There's a bit of a pre for our survivors. If the regression events do come into play, Hasso, I guess we'll need something from our survivors, because yeah, okay, that's going to be a hit through the window. So that's really, really big setback for Radiant, because they really want to keep that health state if possible. They need to somehow slow this game down even more to where the regression events actually matter, and then they need to keep chase with so few resources left on the map, such that the gens are being worked on faster than the hooks can come in. And AZ's actually taking the UBX to the back there, Hasso. I feel like this is a full momentum shift from the start of the trial. Again, remember, there were 4 survivors in this trial, with the same amount of generators remaining, and yet there's still 3 gens left, and one survivor down around 10 minutes later. So yeah, it's like insane how this has progressed for our killer.
Yeah, look, I don't know if you noticed, Tavi. I certainly did. Asta, pardon me, was when Asta got hooked, or Prom, I believe it was Asta though, got hooked in that mid-gen. I do recall there being a pain res ping. Now, obviously, it went from 2 to 1, but I believe Eruption is finally up on that main generator, on that mid generator, the one that he's currently looking towards. I genuinely believe all the kicks are up. I don't think you can kick it anymore. It's not showing the spikes on the screen, the HUD, but I genuinely, let's see if he kicks it here. I don't think that, we'll wait till the Eruption comes back, but I'm 99% sure that it's been kicked so many times that we cannot afford to kick it anymore. I don't think it's possible. Obviously, I might be seeing stuff, but yeah, it genuinely looks like you cannot kick it anymore. These two are resetting main, which you love to see. But, my goodness, I tell you what, Tavi, this could come down right to the wire. Asta will go down here in a beautiful death location. The pain raise at this point will not matter. We have to TP. We have to check this mid-gen. Let's see if he kicks it right here. Yeah, it's definitely... I mean, we're going to have to get a timer on this at some point, because this has been going on for a good amount of time. You know, I like to stand at my microwave for 5 minutes while I cook food, but my God, I could do that so many times. This game has gone on for so
Wait, he gets the gen!
He gets the generator. There you go. There we go. That will be the set to, hold on, let me think. Radiant, I think. Yes. Very nicely done. The final gen pops. Tavi, God, this game has gone on for far too long, mate.
This is a Blight set moment. Blight set 3v1 moment with 2 SEA teams who want to stealth max with self-care botany moment. Yeah. That is surely one of the moments of all time, but... yeah, Radiant comes out on top. They managed to pop the gen, and as you were saying before, I guess, as you predicted correctly, those regression events really did matter at the end of the day. And Pom's going down. It doesn't really matter. Well, he didn't go down. It's funny, but yeah, it's 1 set to Radiant after this 25 minute set. I think we started this around 25 minutes ago, which is incredible to say. I think that actually breaks a record one of the longest sets I've ever casted. And by the way, it's still going on because this chase is not over and nobody's hooked yet. So maybe it breaks the 30-minute mark too. That would be insane if that happened. But yeah, just Radiant pulling through at the end. They had a good enough start. They kind of, I think, did a little too many mistakes in the middle. They couldn't really get out of that 3-gen scenario. They might have played a little bit too aggressive. Whatever it was, it led to this insane endgame where you had 3 survivors left working an impossible 3-gen, which they did manage to crack in the end, thanks to that one inbuilt mechanic, the nerf eruption. So yeah, that's one set going to Radiant after over 1.5 hours of gameplay between these two teams. Which, funnily enough, we got another set after this. So I'll let you speak now.
I have to say, 12 minutes to pop that final gen. 12 minutes. 12 minutes we were playing ping pong. 12 minutes. I cannot believe that. I typed in the caster's chat, said 4K1 tie as they popped that gen, and then I got a reply 12 minutes later. This is ridiculous. 12 minutes to pop a gen that takes 90 seconds. The amount of times we had to hit that gen, the amount of effort that this killer Azuki was going into just to try and get these downs. I mean, fair play. At the end of the day, they've prevailed on the side of survivors. But very nicely done from Radiant to get that set. It, obviously not an easy win con, but I have to give it. I do have to give Nythera some credit, because to be backed against the wall and to put on a performance like that where you almost get the win and you fall short because of you can't kick the gens anymore it's really good. They should be proud of themselves, because even though that was pretty cooked, 12 minutes to pop a singular gen that takes 90 seconds, that is very nicely done. So that being said, that will finish us up for the second set of Game 4. We will take a short intermission. Tavi and I definitely need an intermission, that's for sure. But yes, we will be back, and hopefully we don't have a 12-minute with one generator remaining thing again. So we will be back very shortly.
Yo, everyone. Welcome back to what is the final streamed match between Nythera and Radiant. Radiant just took their set pick of the unknown after quite a while, after quite a lot of gameplay. We did reach the result of a 4K0 for their survivor side when the killer managed to get a 4K1. So that is a set in their favor, but of course you have to play out the tiebreaker since the Mastermind did get tied. Still need to decide who is the winner of these sets. And actually, AZ is going to get found very quickly, so Izuki takes a very, very fast shred to start off this trial. What I will say about this set, Hasso, is that since our teams have already spent $50, by the way, nice 2-tap. Since our teams have already spent $50 on choosing their perks that were available, that means they had to play with the perks that they picked, in this final set, because they don't have any money to allocate any other perks. So we'll just have to see if they have enough good perks to make up the difference of the tiebreaker set of the demo.
Yeah, absolutely. And some would say, I mean, this is a perfect time for unemployed people like myself to sit back and cast a game. I mean, I tell you what, this has been hectic. I haven't slept in, I think, 27 hours. So a bit cooked, but fired up, mate. We've got what should be. I mean, if somehow I'm 100% sure this is the last set of this matchup at least. Obviously, we have one more match after this game, but a demo set, I'm absolutely loving it. Azuki off to a really good start. 2 injures, got 1 fresh on the board. We do get a little bit dodgy from Prom. Now, I have to say, the big Prom has been putting on a real performance over the past while, and has really improved from what I've seen. I can't remember what team Prom has been on, has been on, but definitely have seen him around, and great player. It shows. We saw last game, incredible result. So There's going to be another pain res, Tavi. What are we going? What are we working with? You know, the same builds, of course. The motorbike perk, but this is not what you want. An injured survivor getting caught behind main. What are we doing, dude? We need to lock in. Here we go. We're going to get this down, hopefully, as soon as possible. Honestly, smart play to force the lock. At the moment, lockers are a bit glitched. I don't know if you noticed, Harvey, but you almost have to press your space bar. I'm not even taking the piss. Maybe 6 to 8 times, like spam it for it to actually open. You get the the pull in animation to open the locker, but it glitches you out. So I'm not too sure what the go is there. But that being said, I mean, so far so good. Yeah, 3 stages on the board for the Demogorgon, with no generators popping. And we've just tried to send it over a car. That's not how it works, Suzuki. It's not how physics works. But Tavi, I'll pass it over to you. This is a really good start here. 3 freshes, 3 hooks, no gens popped.
Absolutely. It makes me wonder how reliant teams are, on the exhaustion perks. I assume that they're very comfortable playing Mastermind thanks to the allowed exhaustion perks, but on the Demogorgon, those are all gone, except for, I believe, Smash It and Head On, which you're not really going to bring to a series of Unknown and Mastermind, most likely. So, yeah, very few exhaustions left for both teams, if any were even brought at all. And I think it shows with the amount of pressure that Izuki has managed to apply it for the start of this trial. Again, I completely agree with you. Beautiful start coming through. Catches out the unhook and is going to commit to Conqueror here. It's going to ignore Az for the time being, but Conqueror is, of course, the more vulnerable survivor, being in the injured state instead of being in the healthy state. And he's actually forcing the chase around here. This Macmillan tile is always unsafe, but the issue with it is just winning the 50s and how much time you can buy as a survivor. Not necessarily, like, can you get away from it and then also get enough time. Izuki's going to send that. Conqueror makes it back to the RNL, and Izuki's actually What? Eh? What? Eh? it's like when that is like but what even happened there? Just a survivor appears out of nowhere and takes a hit for our ace. But yeah, Conqueror is gonna just make. Oh, he doesn't make that. He doesn't make the turn, and he goes down. And this is 5 hooks. So this is 5 hooks for 2 generators as the Demogorgon. Like, that is really good stuff for Izuki and for Nythera by extension. So I think if he keeps this up, he can definitely set a good win condition for the next half of the demo.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I have to say, Tavi, the survivors are definitely starting to get the pressure back on the board. They've sort of struggled throughout, the series. I've noticed sort of at the start they start to struggle a little bit, but it's almost like, how do I word this so it sounds correctly? It's going to sound very odd, but it's almost like your metabolism. The more exercise you do, the faster it goes. That's literally how these survivors are doing. The more they do, the more that happens to them, the faster they go and the more efficient they are. I don't see them slowing down. If we get a look over to these gens, we have one set up, Asta set up for the pull, and we should get this realistically. If we can get a little bit jiggy, we are going to get it beautifully done. Maybe even get the endurance tag. No, we don't, but look at this. Doubling out top mid. Tavi, go back to the POV here, but do we make this? Yes, of course we do, because this game has decided to add 15 seconds at BT and distance maxing at its finest, really. That's a down. Great death location, I think. Made it bot. It doesn't really come in. We've come for the B mine. It's not going to work out for us, unfortunately. But that is what you like to see. 5 hooks, a death, 1 on the ground. 1's just been picked up, 2 injuries. Tavi, it is looking really, it's looking pretty damn good for Izuki. And are we stuck in the portal? What's the... Oh, okay, no, we're just in... Okay, fair play, I guess. I'll tab out of that. What is on the bro's head? What the flip is that? That is terrible. You can see the man through the walls. No, that is terrible. That is disgusting, bro. He looks like a UFO just going through walls. Hopefully it's fixed up. No, it's not. Unfortunately, we would just spectate to the chase here. Hopefully it's all fixed and it's just not. So, Tavi, what do you do here?
Well, I'm fairly certain it's just a spectator bug coming through on Izuki's end, and the survivors don't actually see anything out of the ordinary. It is that bug's been in the game for a while, and I guess it's a little bit of a show of how the game does render certain effects in the game. You know, you just add a cone on top of the killer, which has a particle effect to indicate the traversal of the upside down portal. But anyway, it doesn't really matter too much because we're still chilling here. I think the bug is still present, but it's not a big deal. Problem's gonna take chase. I think they're doing an excellent job. They might be able to jiggy away from this area, but they seem to be going down. Izuki's really confident on the shreds, and it's just gonna teleport away. Hopefully it fixes itself now because we opened the portal, or maybe it doesn't. Okay, maybe it doesn't, and we're still stuck in the Netherlands here on Izuki's screen. But no, actually, they decided to pick up from instead. We could, so we could definitely tell they were gonna pick up from there based off the killer POV. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have to say, if this is a 4K2 Tabi, it's not good. Well, what? We're currently 1-0 in this. No. Yes. No. We've had two ties. No, we've had. So we're 1-0. We're 1. I believe Radiant is up 1-0 right now. This is the tiebreaker, and they've sort of flipped the switch. Radiant 1, Nythera 0. So they've flicked the switch, to be brutally honest. Nythera, they've put her on a really nice performance. We're not gonna get that right there. That is a very fast down. The bug is still yet to be fixed. What is going on, behavior? Can we fix this? This is terrible. This is like the same bug on Dracula where you're in his bats and you go TP. So this is, it's not great, to be brutally honest. It's a bit frustrating, but what can you do? Tavi, I mean, we're looking at a 4K, low 4K 1, 4K even 2. What are your thoughts on that?
That's just an insane result on the Demogorgon. Usually, again, Demogorgon is considered to be one of the mid to lower stage killers, but Izuki's, I guess, proving us wrong. Getting the tunnel out at around 3 left, going to perhaps get the second tunnel out onto Prom very, very shortly, as we do see the chase indicators. And yeah, we get a beautiful view there of the upside down portal as Prom goes down. That's going to secure the second tunnel out. I'm not sure if our survivors can do much from here, Hasso, because they're both injured. They didn't opt to reset. They're just trying to pressure gens in this card moment, and that's definitely not going to do them any favors heading into this 2v1. Hopefully, this 2v1 does not get extended to a really long duration. But could have cursed us both there, Hasso, considering... Okay, Asta's in chase, so I guess that means Izuki will get the down and spell the end of the trial for Radiant. So yeah, well played to Izuki here. This is an incredible result. Please fix. Let's go. Portal traversal.
W. Love that. Absolutely love that. Bit of a fix, bit of a pain to have something like that happen, especially in a time where you just want to watch the killer POV. It is just very frustrating. But look, a really just a beautiful performance from Izuki. There's no ifs or buts about that. A beautiful performance, I have to say. Yeah, that's I'm sort of speechless. 4K2 Tavi. That is, it doesn't get much better than that, mate.
Yeah, it's a result that you would see on other killers that do not start with D, E-M-O, and end with G-O-R-G-O-N. It's a result that is one of the highest in the competitive scene, but we just saw it happen live. So yeah, Izuki is, I think, feeling really confident about themselves. They've set themselves a really good win condition in this series, but yeah, that's just well played. I will have to say here, Hasso, I do have another commitment at 12 a.m., so I will have to leave you here by yourself. I apologize, but it was great casting. There's some great games throughout the night. I've been up for a while, cast, by the way,
Yes, I
throughout
know.
throughout the time. So yeah, it was great being here. Sorry to leave, but I hope the rest of the games you can manage, Hasso,
Yes.
and to chat. Have a great rest of your night. Me, I'm gonna pass it back to Hasso unless you have anything else to say. You can take the next directions.
No, I think that being said, a shout out to the big man Tavi. The man's been casting all day, not just for Sewn Angel, for other leagues. So shout out to him. That being said, we will go into an intermission, get this next side set up, and fire up a little bit. I'm trying to stay in there. A bit tired, but I am staying in there. So we have one more game to go after this this next match. So stick around, and hopefully we're not too long. Alright lads, welcome back to Sewn Angel Season. We are here. We've got the final game for the fourth game. Gee, I need to go to bed soon. Fourth game on first day of week 2. There we go. Got it all sorted out in the end, but we're off to start off with Az here with a pretty stock standard build. Haven't really seen too much use of, what is that, turn back the clock. So that will be an interesting one to see what these survivors have got on their builds, just doubling out this this one gen here. Taking chase onto Big Chan, and Chan's gone into what is wrong with the bloke's arm. That is cooked. We are going to get a nice shred here, and probably we're going to stay on Shaq and even greed the pallet and play around her. I'm loving how this is played so far. No, where's the killer gone? No, we've lost insight and we've gone out, and Chan is dead. But they are doubling out that one gen. I'm not too sure what Touch is up to at the moment. Probably setting up for that pool, and that is what he is doing. Nice little build dance with me. Tenacity, light-footed, whatever that is. And self-preservation, I think it is. Not too sure. But that is a pain race to start us off. ESD and Just are working that one gen, so that's very nicely done. It is just me tonight for this last game. Got some special casters up next for yous. But until then, it is me. We are going to take the chase here onto Just. Now, there is a gen in the background getting worked. I believe that is one. And Just has gotten a little bit lost in the fog there, and has just not spotted where the killer is, not looked behind him or something. We are going to opt to go back for this because we are playing for, I believe, a 4K3, which is ridiculous. I cannot believe that is what we're going for. I mean, I don't want to say it, but it's highly unlikely that will happen. To be brutally honest, very rare. But being said, that first gem will be popping very shortly, and these survivors been putting on a little bit of a performance, but they've gotten a little bit lost here. There's 3 injured so far, and we're gonna break this bot mid pallet. I'm not even sure where bot mid is at this point, but we are gonna miss a shredding. That will cause a stun onto Az. Now, in a situation like this, I'm not very mechanically or macro smart at this game. I just play this game for the simple fact that I'm a bored guy. But yeah, I mean, in a situation like this, you'd be hoping that they'd reset, and that's what they're gonna do. I'm really liking this so far. ESD does have windows of opportunity, and he's the Deja player, so hopefully we don't get caught out here. We're gonna place a portal and look over towards one, and break this window, this wall inside. Now, do we spot our survivor here? Or have we stealth? Oh, beautiful from ESD. I'm absolutely loving that. There's a triple reset in the background. We have found the reset, so this is going to cause problems. It'll break the pallet here on this this 10 tile, I think. I'm not too sure what the clock is on this map, but very nicely done. And we're going to take a hit here onto Chan. So we're back to square one. 3 injured, 3 exact same survivors. if this is somehow a 4K2, what is this mind game? What are we doing? That is, I've never seen that in my life. The full 180. But fair play, I guess. Just getting rid of resources at this point is probably your best bet, to just burn up resources and just live for as long as possible. That is a death here onto Just. Now, if I could get a ref to confirm, I don't know if this is a ping matchup or not. I'm not too sure what these... I believe it should be. I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I think Prom... OCE and SEA, yes, because, right, Prom is an OCE player, so that says it all. So, yeah, I mean... The problem here, really, I mean, I don't even know what the problem is at this point. We've got one injured. Hopefully Chan can stealth, but AZ is running over to that stealth, and we might even have to just whack the pallet on. We're seeing a little bit of blood. We're not going to make this with the shred, I don't think. No, we actually could have made that with a fully loaded up shred, but unfortunately that doesn't work out in the end, and we're just going to have to play over towards 9 now. No, yes, that's 9. Okay, I have to get my my clock call outs. Remember, it's pretty simple. There's the beamer. Do we get it? We do. Beautiful stuff on the side of ESD, coming in clutch with the beamer. Absolutely love that. There's the turn back the clock. There's the first time we get value from it, but you know, I don't think we've had much value. I'm not too sure what the survivors are up to now. We'll have our touch working Shack. We've got just doing nothing. Running around trying to get chased, but we have this top mid gen with a little bit of progress, so not too bad, not too shabby at all. But to be brutally honest, I mean, we've been caught with our pants down. That's not once but twice now. Just needs to lock in here. We don't want to get caught off guard again. We have seen some weird mind games from AC, and we do no, it doesn't really work out in the end, but we aren't going to try and lose line of sight. We're just going to send it for our lives. Fair play, I guess, in the end. And that's going to be 3 hooks with 1 gen popping. Look, there's no painters on that. You got to get eruption really on as many gens as possible and turn back the clock on the other gens. Not too sure where these guys are resetting over towards 10 or something, so not too bad. If we do spot this reset out, even though it'll pop, we could get another tag, which would be absolutely crucial, which we are. We've spotted out the big ESD. Let me turn back because I'm not used to being a streamer here. We are going to turn back the clock on that generator, which is fair play. Just get the value from the perk where you can. That's going to be a tag. Beautiful. Probably runs behind main, or inside main, which is what he's going to do. And yeah, I mean, this gen Touch has absolutely been cranking this gen from the very beginning. This gen has gotten plenty of progress. Now, I think his best bet, is to, you got to find tunnel out. If you wanna get it, you really need to find tunnel out and get just out the trial as soon as possible. It is crucial. That is a diabolical hit. Fair play, I guess. Play on. There's just, I guess, we are going to just get this down here to Chan, which will pop eruption at the top mid-gen, and we'll look back over towards 9. Probably going to, we are going to go over and check over on 11 here, and hopefully can find someone off guard. Not too sure what the stealthing is looking like at the moment. We are resetting towards 7, so very nicely done. And then we obviously have ESD behind main going for this pickup, which I really do like how this is being played. We have gone over towards 7, so we're not even worried about Chen. We're just going to try and probably get eruption on a few gens. We do know the reset has happened somewhere. Just again has been caught out. That's just unfortunate right there. That's not even his fault, I guess. Just caught out. I mean, the blue sort of stands out a lot, and that will be a 2-tap, I suppose a 2-tap, but that is a very quick down onto Just, and that is exactly what you need if you are to get this man out the trial as soon as possible. Make it a 3v1. We've seen plenty of 3v1s, and especially how crucial it is to remove one member from the trial. And oh my god, no, we're being caught with our undies down again. This is not working out well at all. We might even just slug this and get ESD here, and that's what we're going to opt to do, because we know that Touch probably isn't nearby if we're going for a reset. He's probably working a gen at this point, and he is too, so this is very nicely done. ESD is going to just you know, have to live here for as long as possible, and Touch will probably come off the gen shortly. No, he's not. Fair play, he just needs to hope and pray that ESD lasts for as long as possible, because as soon as he goes down, I'm telling you, this genuinely could be a 4K3, and it only looks worse and worse for the survivors. They will get a pick on to Chan, I believe, any second, hopefully, but yeah, I mean, there's the elusive. Now, I'm not too sure what this perk does. So, when another survivor is hooked, you gain elusive for 30 seconds. Now, I believe elusive is no scratch marks, quiet footsteps, unless that's just Ace being quiet. No idea. But, yeah. Oh, it's light-footed, right. The guy's got light-footed. I'm just blind. But, yeah, this is looking really, really good on the side of Az. He's played this beautifully. Doesn't really need to stress too much. I thought that Crow was actually a survivor for a second. But, yeah, I mean, you look at the pressure that has been built up on the side of the survivors. I mean, they are going to fold eventually if they don't get out of the situation they are in. And they need to reset, but need to get away from those generators. So someone can work one, you know, maybe supposedly Touch works a gen. But here we are, we've found the reset again. This is not what you want if you're on the side of the survivors, because this is only going to, you know, push back how much progress you get on gens, and we're going to have to play around this car, and we're just going to opt to leave. So this should just be a clean shred. No, we're going to bait it, and that should be a down very shortly. We do get a little bit jiggy with a getaway. There's no pallet to work with here. We're just going to have to die a deep edge 11. We have swung around and probably tried to predict that they're going to drop on the other side, but as he's not buying that, he just sends it straight through, and we're opting to slug here. We might even teleport right on top. We know there's a survivor behind him. We also know that Ace is right nearby. I'm not too sure what that Ace will do. Probably hop back on that generator, not even just going for the pickup onto Chan, but this is very nicely done. That is not a hit from Az. That is very unfortunate, but honestly, in a position like this, you almost have to hope and pray that that survivor in Chan doesn't get picked up anytime soon, because as soon as they get picked up, it will just cause, again, another game of ping pong where you just have to play. And there we go. Chan gets picked up in the background. We're going to send it away from the pallet. Very nicely done. I tell you what, this is looking really problematic if Az cannot get it down. Oh my goodness, I'm eating my words, because that is good. That is what you need. Obviously, there is not much gem progress. There's a little bit towards 7, I believe. But aside from that, we are going to, you know, hook on the hill, which is going to be exactly... No, we're not going to hook on the hill. So we're just going to hook towards 6. No, are we going to... No, so we're not going to hook on the hill. We're just going to hook towards 6. And this is exactly what you need, to be brutally honest. It's panned out perfectly here. Get eruption on this 7 gen. Go check on your gens on the left side of the map. You probably know there is a survivor nearby, which there probably is, which there is. Touch is right nearby, but the killer is completely unaware, so I'm not too sure what we have our other survivor Chan doing. Chan is up at main right now. I still cannot believe we have only been able to pop 2 generators in this amount of time. This is pretty unlucky, but they're just going to opt to send the gens. This is exactly what they need. They need to just send the gens and hope and pray that you know, the killer doesn't come back. So I need to take a sip of my water, but this has been a really good game so far. Alright, there we go. No, but I think so far, so good. Very nicely done, to be brutally honest, from the survivors. They've played this, considering it was looking really dire from when Just went down and got kicked out the trial. It's looked pretty solid from them. They've sort of built the composure, and you can see the ping delay in that. That is atrocious. That is not what you want. Az is going to go back to this 7 gen. He spotted out a survivor. I believe that is ESD. It could be Chan, though. No, it is ESD. So, very nicely done. We're just going to have to last and get away. Now, we do see that main gen getting absolutely pumped in the moment. Now, ESD just sending the vault. This is what you absolutely need if you're just trying to play for this win con. All they need to do is pop 2 generators. It sounds easier said than done, but in a situation like this, he's not looking good. We've opted to vault the window, and I'm telling you now, the problems are just arising, because we don't even have to worry about a fresh bleed out. That man's already been hooked. We could leave him on the floor for however long it is, and you know, I'd start to get a bit worried here from the survivors, because That'll force Chan off the generator, unless we just stick it. I guess you could. I guess they're injured. They are just going to stick it. There's enough progress. We do avoid this shred. Get a little bit lost in the source with this survivor, but, you know, I have to say, so far, pretty good. These survivors have brought the momentum back onto their side a little bit. Obviously, the pressure is going to build even more exponentially in the next 2 minutes, especially because they know that they have to win, and we win a beautiful 50. That is absolutely what you need if you're in a situation that's so dire like this. And now we're just going to send it towards the edge of the map. Might even make it to this pallet where we're forced to shred, and we're not. We're just going to die around the edge. So very nicely done. That's dying in 11 now. I'm not too sure what these survivors are doing. We're back on 7. I'm loving this. ESD is set up probably for a fast pull. That main generator has got a lot of progress. We're going straight back to 7. That'll force touch off the gen. He'll probably run towards Shaq, which I assume he is. He is running over towards 5, which is very nicely done. Pre-leaving that good comms from the survivors there. We are just opting to sit this gen. Now, this will prompt Az to go back to the unhook, and that is what he's going to do. Obviously, that gen is going to pop. No, did we miss a skill check? I think we've missed a skill check. That is going to change the game for the whole... That has changed the game. That has turned it on his head. I believe the man has just missed a skill check because we heard the explosion and he's been off the gen. That is unfortunate. Touch is going to have to sit this gen and hope and pray that the killer does not go towards 7. If we do opt to go towards 7, it is just GG's, but my goodness, that's what we're going to do. We've spotted out our survivor. Oh, that is so unfortunate if you're the survivors. A 4K3, oh, that is just, yeah, that is really upsetting, and I'm sure they're hurting because this... For people that might just be tuning in, we just had an unknown game that went on for about 31 minutes. That's not even exaggerating. The last gen took 12 minutes to pop in a 3v1. So, you know, for this side of, believe, I'm not too sure which team's which, to be brutally honest. But Az it has put on a beautiful performance. Just so I can recheck. So Radiant is going to take this set. That means, therefore, they will win the match. If I can get Radiant 2-0. So yes, they win. So that is beautiful. That is an incredible result. That has been, God, I've been in this VC for 8 hours. That game has probably gone on for at least an hour and a half, just back to back to back to back. It's been a full-on long time, so very nicely done. That'll finish us up for the 4th game, Nythera versus Radiant, which we had Mastermind, followed by Unknown, and then the demo on CT1. Next up, Game 5, the final one of the match before I give it off to, well, we go to intermission, then I pass it off to the next casters. We have got Pony Thunder versus Nothing, which will be the first on Gas Heaven, and then the Dracula on nearly said Wretched Shop. Well, it is, right? I meant Wretched Fate, but Wretched Shop and then Ghoul on Bloodlord show some really good sets. That being said, we will enter an intermission, but yeah, get excited. We've got some great casters coming up next, and I'm sure they'll be a lot more entertaining than me. So we will be back as soon as possible.